Right, so guys, this is going to be a little review for contrast on the PlayStation 4. Of course, it was one of PlayStation Plus's free games for the launch of the PlayStation 4, but it's not an exclusive. It is also on the PS3, 360 and PC. It's not on Xbox One, I don't believe, but I decided to give it a go because I like sort of indie titles which are quite unique, things like Journey, things like Limbo, that sort of thing, and I thought this kind of fit into that category of game, and I played it all. I played it for about 3 to 3.5 hours. I knew it wasn't a long game, and I wasn't disappointed with it. I think it was a good game. I liked, well, basically I'll give you a brief kind of synopsis of it if you don't know too much. Basically, you take the role of a character called Dawn, who is an imaginary friend of a little girl called Dee Dee, and you're living in this kind of really, I can't just describe the atmosphere of this game. It's sort of set in the sort of 1900, well, early 1900s, sort of like 1901 or something like that. And you're in an empty city. Like, this whole city is completely empty. It's you and your imaginary, well, you and this girl called Dee Dee. You play as the imaginary friend Dawn. Dawn doesn't speak. It's like literally a tall figure of a woman, and you follow this girl Dee Dee around, and you follow the story of Dee Dee and her parents, and you find out more about her family and kind of why her family are having these problems. But the unique thing about this game is it is all based on shadows. So basically, the only human figures you see in this game are Dawn and Dee Dee, and you see everyone else, like Dee Dee's parents. You see them as a figure on the wall, a shadow figure on the wall. All the other characters are shadow figures, and it was really unique. It really did kind of suck me into the game. Like, the atmosphere of the game was unlike anything I've played before. It's very sort of gothic and very quite similar to Limbo. It gave me that same feeling like Limbo did, where a very dark game, but it's kind of visually stunning to look at the same time. It was a really enjoyable game, I have to say, but there were a few flaws with the game. Basically, it's an action puzzle platformer sort of thing. There's no sort of fighting enemy. There's no enemies in the game at all. It's very much story based and puzzle based, and you kind of go along the game, and there's a lot of puzzles you have to kind of come across. A lot of the traditional puzzles sort of find crates to put on this switch. Like, they say there'd be 3 switches on the floor. You would have to find something to place on each switch, things like that. But the unique thing about it is, like I said, it uses shadows, and one unique feature in the game is that Dawn, your character, can switch instantly into a human figure and a shadow figure. So say if there's a light and it's shining onto a wall, you can walk up to that wall, press R2, and you'll become a shadow figure on that wall, and then the game will become sort of a 2D platformer, which is very unique. I've never seen a game do this thing before, and it was very fun to play. There is an actual portion of the game, if you are playing the game, or if you do plan to get it, once you play it, make sure once you come across the puppet scene, you'll know what I mean when you come across it, you're in for like a great gaming experience. It was incredible, the puppet sequence on this game. So yeah, once you play it, just bear in mind when you come across puppets, you're about to come across a great part of the game. But it's a really hard game to explain because it is so unique. There's literally no enemies in the game. It's quite an open world sort of city that you're in, but like I said, it's very dark and there's no one else there. You're literally the only characters, so it feels very eerie. It is quite a spooky game as well, because like I said, all the surrounding characters are shadow figures on the wall. So you would be walking down the street and you would see sort of shadows start talking on the wall and everything, and it really is quite freaky sometimes. But it is a unique game. But the downside of it is a very buggy game. It's a very glitchy game, and it feels in some ways unfinished. It feels like a beta model of a game. Sometimes literally the simplest thing that you'd need to do, sort of like jump onto a ledge, you'll jump onto it and your character model will start sort of shaking, get stuck in the wall, objects will become stuck in her, forcing you to restart the game. Things like that is very glitchy, which kind of did put a downside on the game. I know I did look on some forums after I completed the game, and some people said that they genuinely got stuck, like they get their game bugged out and they had to restart the whole game because they literally couldn't progress any further because of a major glitch that happened. Luckily I didn't get that, but it is such a short game. I would recommend playing it in 1 or maybe 2 sittings. I played it in 2 sittings, and it was perfect. I think any longer and it would have been a bit too long because of the gameplay style, because there's no enemies, because it's slow paced and puzzle based. If it was any longer, it would have become boring, but if it was any shorter, it would have been over too quickly. So I think it's the perfect length. And like I said, it is a hard game to explain, so definitely check out some videos online and play it yourself, because it is free on PlayStation Plus. And chances are, if you're getting a PS4, you're going to have PlayStation Plus, because you do need it for online. So basically it's a free game, and I can't recommend it enough. But like I said, not a perfect game because of the amount of bugs and glitches in there. I'd give it about a 7 out of 10 because I liked the atmosphere of the game. I've never quite seen an atmosphere in a game like this before. Very, very eerie, and very unique at the same time, with, like I said, with the shadow gameplay. But yeah, definitely guys, check this game out. You can't go wrong by playing it for sort of 3 hours and giving it your time. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough really. So leave your comments down below if you've played it as well. Just another quick mention as well, once you complete it, the ending does leave your mind sort of frazzled. You are wanting to know answers, but it is a very unique ending really, and once you do finish it, you give yourself a little bit of time to think about it, and then you realise that, yeah, that was a good little plot on that game. So yeah guys, just bear in mind it's a great game. You do need to give it a bit of time, but once you get into it, it is a lot of fun. So leave your comments down below as usual guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.